Celeb Savant is a career retrospective type interview focusing on singers, actors, and industry experts. Join Barrett Edelstein now as he dives into the entertainment world.
American singer, songwriter, and actor Keith D. Robinson is ahead of the game. He is a true triple threat. Before making his way to Tinseltown, Keith set his sights on music and attended the University of Georgia. He has had an illustrious acting career, landing an incredible 70 projects in both television and film. Keith has been able to establish himself as a face to watch in the entertainment industry for quite some time, starring in popular works like Dreamgirls, The Christmas, Four Seasons, Fat Albert, CRU, and the life story of Mahalia Jackson. Additionally, he starred in Saint and Sinners for all 6 seasons. Keith currently portrays the character of Dr. Ted Richardson on the American soap Beyond the Gates. Over the years, Keith has successfully released bodies of work in the music industry. In 2026, he released his latest album, Love Episodic 2, which includes, amongst other singles, different languages. Up next on Celeb Savant, we've got Keith D. Robinson. Where in the world are you and how are you doing?
I am in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am doing fine, doing just fine.
At what age, whether as a child or teenager, did you think, okay, I want to follow this path of creativity, and how did that journey progress?
I think I realized I wanted to get into it seriously in high school. My senior year in high school, I was in a band. We were kind of a local band around town playing, and I went off to college the following year and joined another band or singing group, and that pretty much started my career.
How did the solo part happen? What were the next steps in the solo career path?
Well, the second group that I got in college, we got a record deal with Motown Records. We got out of that deal. We ventured out to Los Angeles to try to re-sign, and there we kind of broke up. The band broke up, and I began to kind of pursue the dream solo.
What is the difference for you having experience being part of the band and now pursuing a solo career?
Well, I guess, the band, you're kind of in a collective. You have to deal with other personalities, other ideas. You kind of have to, be a team player. When you're a solo artist, what you say it is what it is. You're a one-man gang, and you're pretty much free to succeed and fail on your own.
How do you create a song?
It varies, but usually it's based off of something I'm going through or something I've heard around me. If I find a beat or a music composition that really inspires me, I kind of marry the two. So, in a word, I just think life and life happening around me inspires my music.
Your latest project that's coming up, or your new music, tell us all about it.
Yeah, the album is called Love Episodic 2. It's kind of a time capsule of my life in the last few years, a lot of different ups and downs in my life that I've kind of put to music. The latest single is called Different Languages, which is kind of a tribute to lovers quarreling and still making it over the hump, just really kind of feeling each other's vibration. But yeah, it's Love Episodic 2. Love Episodic 1 I released several years ago, and this is the follow-up, and I'm excited for people to hear it.
How come there was a longer period of time between releasing Episodic 1 to now releasing Episodic 2?
I just think life, a lot of life happened. 2017, this was released. I think 2019, I believe I got married. I had a child. I got a divorce. I moved. There was a entertainment writer's strike. There were fires. There were many different things that and work. And I was shooting and filming a TV show. So a lot of different things were writing the record by themselves, but I wasn't really putting it down. And COVID as well. So a lot of these records I wrote during COVID, it kind of life, really. That's kind of what the gap was.
I love me a CD. I still budget for my CDs every month. For me, it's a thank you and an energy exchange to say thank you to you guys for all the hard work you do. I love the journey of the choice, the booklet, the unpacking, listening to song 1 to whatever number. I'm unsure if you are or not aware of a massive uptick of physical around the world, US, UK, Europe. I was actually reading an article today, in fact, in Variety magazine or Variety on the website, that in the US last year, $1.4 billion in vinyls sold, the biggest since 1983. In the UK, 3 years ago, 5.9 million vinyls sold, the biggest since 1993. Last year in the UK, there's also a basket of products that they gauge exchanges on. There needs to be a high number of exchanges daily in order for a product to be in the basket. They monitor it for tax purposes. And because of the upsurge of CDs again, CDs are now back in the basket. And the research is showing of all this stuff that it's the teenagers, it's the younger kids diving into this world, not the older nostalgic people. Then we have Spotify and the DSPs people consume music on. What is your observation of the landscape at the moment?
I think the uptake in the physical is exciting. I love that. I mean, it means that people are paying attention to nostalgia. They want to have a tangible piece of the music. I mean, I come from the era where you would get the album, read the credits, use the cover was a big deal. So that's nostalgic. And I think that's a good nostalgic thing. Streaming, I feel like we're not going to, I mean, it's with technology was only, that was a kind of a thing that was going to happen anyway. But I feel like I wish they would get the payment scale get that right, because you have to have so many streams to make $1. I think that's still a work in progress. But I'm kind of the mind that I don't know if streaming is going to be around in the next few years. A lot of people are saying it's going to transfer to something else. So as long as we got that tangible piece of music in that vinyl and CDs, I think that's a good thing.
Do you think there needs to be more of an education piece for the general listening public? I'll give you an example. I teach spinning classes, and I decided to do a couple of focus groups. A group of 10 people, a group of 8 people, and a group of 3 people. Cross-diverse, cross-culture, cross-age group, generally listening to music on digital. I said to all these groups of people, I said, if an artist has had 100 million streams, how much money do you think they got in their back pocket? The first group of people said $50 million. The second group the second group of people said $1 million. The third group of people said $300,000. Now, I said, well, no, it's actually more like 1,000 or 2,000. And they were very shocked and very horrified. I do know that Ray, Snoop Dogg, a whole bunch of artists are speaking out about the imbalance. What are your thoughts around this whole topic about whether the audience needs to understand more?
I think they do need to understand, but I think it's a shame that because the powers that be know this, the pay scale is so ridiculously off. So somebody's getting paid, somebody's making that money. It's not the artist. So I think it's a shame, and I think the public should definitely be made aware, because maybe that would give them more inkling to support said artists, what they do for a living. Because in order you make money from streaming, you have to be selling a ridiculous amount of albums, and if you're selling a ridiculous amount of streams like that, then the source of your income is probably coming from tours and some other source.
Speaking of tours, what do you love about performing live?
I think the immediate payoff, the feedback that you get from the crowd, they're loving the record. Just the moment, the energy, you can't duplicate that when the people are buying your music and they can't see you. But if you're right in front of them, you can bring it to them live, and you're able to move and affect them with your music. I think there's nothing better than that.
Okay, so I'm that dude that's right up in front. I'm dancing, I'm jamming. I'll take my cell phone out for maybe 1 or 2 videos, 1 or 2 photos, and I put it away.
Okay.
I notice these days a lot of people are tweeting and videoing and busy with their phones. You reference the feedback, you reference the energy, them seeing you, but you being on the stage and potentially seeing a bunch of phones. Do you not think that takes away from that experience for them potentially, or it's just where society is at this time?
I think both. I think it does take away, but it's definitely where society is. Everybody's trying to capture a moment, to be seen, to be heard, to be followed. So I think I don't think it's going anywhere. And even as an artist, you're almost forced to record these moments, to play them back, to get your numbers up, because, people are going to support and fund projects and music that they think is being seen and heard. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that way.
When did acting come into your path? Was it always there as well, or did it come into it at a later stage?
Definitely at a later stage. When I moved out to Hollywood, Los Angeles, the acting thing kind of got onto my plate. But before that, it was pure music. So well into my career, and then the acting kind of, showed up and took over, so to speak, for a while.
How did it show up? Was it just like, oh, it happened, or were there various steps that allowed it to happen? And were you surprised by that path in your trajectory?
I was surprised. Because I had no intention. I scoffed at it. I thought it was kind of superficial, to be honest with you. And I got out to LA. I went to an acting class with a friend and participated in the class. The teacher who ended up becoming my manager suggested I go read for this role. I got the role, and that started my career. Then I really began to study the craft and fell in love with it. So yeah, it was definitely, I call it a divine accident, but I feel like it was meant to be.
What do you love about acting?
I love being able to jump in other people's skin and tell a story, to be able to move people to tears, to cry, to laugh, to reflect, especially when it's great material. You feel like you're kind of contributing your art to the world, to society, and giving people at least, at the bare minimum, an escape.
So you're on Beyond the Gates. I'm a huge
Yeah.
soapy fan. I had a subscription to Soap Opera Digest when it was
Oh,
physical.
wow.
I've still got all of them. I was very upset when they canceled the physical format of it.
Right.
I know you guys work very hard, and there's a lot of people think, soap actors, they don't really do much, but you can work damn hard. It's 7 more, maybe 2-3 episodes a day, loads of scripts, going through the motions, feeling it, all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. I got scripts right now. See, I'm studying right now.
When you first started on the soap, were you a bit not really starstruck, but sort of like a deer in the headlights by the machine of what it is? Or did your grounding in the other acting just give you that foundation for what it was?
Definitely the grounding. For me, I wasn't a deer. My thing was I went in as a hired gun. I wanted to just get through the first scene. There was a good amount of material for my first day at work. And I was just excited to be there and wanted to be good at it and wanted to blend in. So I didn't feel any overwhelming situation. I've been doing this, I've been at this for a while. So I'm an old hack at this point. It was just really adjusting to the people, to the new environment.
But obviously a soap opera is very different to other.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you enjoy, and what is the difference for you between being on a soap opera compared to being in other formats?
I enjoy the stability and the family atmosphere that soaps bring. When it's a show that's doing well and people like it, it gives me almost of a 9 to 5 feel, but it's a 9 to 5 that I really enjoy, which I haven't ever had in my career. I think that's the biggest thing that I love about soaps, and then the immediate payoff and the fact that people can communicate and talk, and you can see the results kind of every day. So that's fun.
And it also allows you that balance of being able to do the music, because it's sort of that 9 to 5. Then you can tap into the other areas of your career
Right.
at the same time.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what it does. It definitely has opened doors and allowed me to fund my craft, basically.
How far in advance do you guys film?
We're about 3 or 4 months ahead of you guys. When you guys see an episode, we shot that about 3 months ago.
Okay. Do you ever get into a situation of, or is it down into routine now that it's 4 months and then you're talking to someone and then you forget where it is on the screen and then you start talking about things that are currently happening? Or are you very in sync?
I'm pretty in sync to know that not to talk about current plot points, because I know the person I'm talking to is not up where we are. And the writers, they give us material on a need to know basis. So they kind of help us out with that too by keeping us in the dark. So I've never run into that yet, especially on an interview. Maybe in personal conversations, you might be able to get a tidbit out of me, but nothing that would be recorded.
I know you've got the album, you've got the music, the singles, you've got the soapy. What else is coming up over the next period of time?
I've got a couple personal projects that I'm shopping right now. One called LA Social, which is a TV show that I wrote. Greener Grass Experiment, which is a sci-fi, romantic sci-fi that I've been working on for a number of years. So I'm trying to get those projects off the ground. I'm into men's health and fitness. Well, I know you said you cycle, which is great. I'm a yogi and I'm into weights. So
Okay.
we're doing a fitness show we're working on right now. And just more music, more TV, more movies, and more episodes of Beyond the Gates.
How long ago did you start creating your own shows and series?
Oh, probably about 10 years ago. I've always pitched shows. I've always had my own personal ideas that I wanted to do and get off the ground. So that's kind of always been on the stove with me.
Obviously, it takes time for a pitch to land into actual production. For you, what is the thing that keeps you going when doors keep saying no, potentially?
Yeah. I just think this is what I do. It's kind of, no is part of the process. After a while, you understand that. The prospect of really landing a great project that is successful is always, that hope keeps me going. And just the fact that my basic love for the craft. I love what I do, and I don't know what else I would be doing. I feel blessed and lucky to have found something that I love and can make a living at the same time. So, that's pretty much what keeps me going.
I love this next game. I know if I had to ask this question tomorrow or the next day or the next day, I know your answer will be different every time. Very important. I'm not saying favorite. I'm saying top of mind. If once you finish this conversation, you went away and you wanted to listen to 5 other artists, dead or alive, releasing, not releasing, bands or solos, who would those 5 artists be?
Stevie Wonder, Downey Hathaway, Sting. Who else? Maybe Drake. I'm a big Drake fan, and I could say maybe somebody current, maybe Leon Thomas or her, somebody like that. Somebody common, somebody present day.
The
All right.
podcast is listened to throughout the world. As a final message to the audience, what would you like to say?
I would like to say, keep the faith, stay locked in on your dreams. You can get there, and download different languages and anticipate the new album, Love Episodic 2 from me, and tune in to Beyond the Gates.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Celeb Savant. Please follow Barrett on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook at Celeb Savant. That's CelebSavant.